How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me okay? Is it too loud?
Yeah.
All right. My name is David Roth. Hello, my name is David Roth. I'm a woodworker here at Kansas City Woodworkers Guild. Been here a little over 20 years. The type of art or the type of woodworking I do is called Intarsia. That's the Italian pronunciation. In the United States, we call it Intarsia. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to raise your hand, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Tonight, I'm going to talk about 3 to 4 subjects. One is wood identification, the type of woods to be used for Intarsia, the type of scroll saw blades that we're going to be using, and how to cut the wood. The third is how to sculpt the wood, and how you close the gaps after you cut the pieces. Tonight, what we're going to do is, first we're going to talk about what we're going to do, and that is a lioness. So it's the female lion. We got the male lion on the workbench over here, so we're going to be doing this one here. Okay? But before we start that, I got some different types of wood here. Can some people start naming some type of domestic woods, light colored domestic woods, light texture? Maple. What else? Box elder.
Basswood.
Bass.
Cottonwood.
Holly.
Cottonwood.
Cottonwood. Poplar. Aspen. Those are all nice, soft, light color woods. What about some dark domestic woods? What kind of woods do we have like that?
Cherry.
Walnut. Cherry.
Hickory.
Hickory. That's all. Yeah, that's a pretty good hardwood. What else? Locust.
Osage orange.
Osage orange. Right. Now, what about some exotic woods? What kind of exotic woods are there? Mahogany. Babinga. That's my favorite one there. Babinga. What other kind do we have? Purple heart. What else? Redwood, yellow heart, red heart. Lacewood. We saw lacewood in Tim's marquetry piece. Paxton had a book a while back, and this is back in the early 90s. And I don't know if Paxton's here tonight or not, but they have all different types of wood. They're open to the public again, so what they have in inventory, I'm not sure. But here's just a kind of a list of them. And the reason why I mention that is here, I don't know if you can see that in the camera up top. You get that? All right, we have a different varieties of woods, and I'm going to pass some of these around. What we have on this here, this is Paduke. That's not going to work. That's going to go flying right down. We got Paduke with an oil finish. This one here is a water-based finish. Now I don't know if you can kind of see that, the different color, but here it is natural. So when you're planning your Intarsia pieces, you also think what type of colors I want to use in my artwork. Like the lion here that we have. We have maple, holly. All the light woods are in the middle of the face, but the outer perimeter has all the dark colors. So it brings you toward that piece when you look at it from far away. How about Purple Heart? We have an oil finish here and a water-based finish here. When you put an oil finish on, it really brings out the wood. It really brings out the color. And this is what it looks like before you put the finish on. So I'm going to pass some of these around. We'll start on this side. You want any of these? Or if you drop them, don't worry about it. It's wood. We know how to fix them. Seriously, it's wood. That's what we do. We're woodworkers.
Most beautiful little rocks I've ever seen.
They are beautiful little rocks. It looks like the pretty patties from SpongeBob SquarePants. That's what my daughter said when she came home last night. I said, really? I said, yeah, you're not too far off. All right. Aspen. If you do aspen, here's what it looks like natural. This is a water-based finish, and this is the oil finish. Notice how the oil finish has more of a golden color to it. Don't say yellow, say golden. It makes it sound better. It's worth a little bit more. So it has more of a golden color to it, which is fine. But it brings out the beauty of the wood. I'm going to pass these around here. This is Sapella. Oil finish, beautiful. Water-based finish, a lot lighter. And by itself. So it all depends what type of finish. I love the water base. You put it on, and in time, things are going to darken. That Paduke that you see there is nice and red. I'll show you what it looks like after about 10 or 15 years. There you go, sir. Have fun. I took one of my pieces into a neighbor of mine, had a car wash. Big old windows, 12 foot high, right? Big old open space. It was in the north side, but there's still a lot of light that came in. And that Paduke, where's that Paduke floating around at? Who has it? All right, well anyway, it's a nice orangish red, nice color. My son actually put the finish in all these. He was playing on his iPad. I said, So what I did is I have him stamp all the back of these. The name of the wood, the date on it, and it was June 20th, yesterday. And he put the finish on these too, so he learned how to put the finish. This is called True Oil. Has a nice high gloss to it. But once you let it sit out, that Paduke turns to this color. Looks like a Hershey's chocolate bar. Beautiful wood. I mean, some people don't like it, but if it turns that color, I like that color. It's really nice. And this down here, the red, is bloodwood. And that one's has stayed true to color, the bloodwood has. So if you want something red that stays red, bloodwood's a good one. But man, it's really hard to sculpt it. What happens is there's oils in these woods, and when the oils heat up on your sanding drums, it can burn your sanding drums. Just let the sanding sleeves do its job. When it does its job, it'll remove it. It'll take a little longer, but it's well worth it. This here's ironwood. Hopefully I don't know how to pronounce certain words. Sponosium, the woodturners thing? That word, yeah, spososium. Whatever, that place there, hopefully they'll have a lot of woodworkers there. They bring in a lot of wood. Hopefully I can find some ironwood. They don't sell it much because I guess it's endangered. I don't know the whole story of it. Beautiful. Smells like old cows by an oak tree or walnut tree. It smells horrible. But a beautiful finish. I'm just telling you, you'll use your nose when you sculpt these things. Any questions so far on different types of wood? Yes, sir?
Do you ever mix finishes on your work?
Sometimes. I did a broiled walnut cougar, right? And I put this nice, I don't know, it wasn't an oil finish on it. This guy comes up to me, he bought it at the auction, he goes, Dave, look what I did. I put an oil finish on it. I think I was a varnish on it. He put an wipe-on oil finish. It really looked really good. It looked really nice. It's like, wow, it really brought out the things. But generally, what I used to do is I used to put shellac on and then varnish. Varnish, there's not a lot of varnishes around anymore. It was Benjamin Moore Satin Finish Varnish 40400. And I learned that 1998. And it's not around. They have a low luster, just doesn't cut. It's like a semi-gloss. The nice thing about the varnish is you can put wax on top of it. If you put shellac on wood, you can put poly over it after you sand it. After you put shellac on wood, you can hit it with lacquer. You can put, Craig, can you put water-based finish over shellac after it's cured?
Wax-free shellac.
Wax-free shellac. So you can put a water-based finish. So to answer your question, yes, I usually use shellac. But here, I do not do that. I just put the water-based finish on, 3-4 coats, I'm done.
Hey, Dave,
Yes,
you were talking about the wood color changes.
correct.
Do you employ stains or glazes to try to mitigate that?
No, I don't. I just use the natural color of the wood. I just let it do its thing. When I first learned about wood finishing, someone told me how to stain cherry to make it enhance the color by diluting it down with mineral spirits just to give it a little darker shade. And but only time I use stains is if I do red oak and I want to make it look dark, because that's the past theme the last 5 years, how they make furniture or church pieces, pews, all dark. And that's the only time I use stains. But other than that, for Intarsia, no. One last thing I want to talk about for wood colors is when you do Intarsia, I think everyone's seen this bird here. It's a swallow, barn swallow. It's walnut, and this is Wayne's wood, which is also known as cottonwood. And some of the pieces are laminated together. This one over here, this is the same design but different colored woods. This one here is Makor. It's a type of cherry in Africa. And you start sanding this stuff, it'll make you cough. It's an irritant, and I just use it on the joiner here to get some boards flat. Ran it through the joiner, and some people start coughing. I'm going, better not do that anymore. So it got down one side, I took it home, and I think I was running through my planer, you could really smell it. So I stopped. And the rest of the pieces on here are broiled walnut. So same design, same pattern, just different color woods. So think about that when you're doing your artwork. A lot of good artists are out there: Judy Gale Roberts, Kathy Wise, and Garnett Hall. I haven't heard much of Garnett Hall lately, but he used to do a lot of. He does motorcycles and things like that. I'll pass these books around. Judy Gale Roberts. I like the Kathy Wise books. She does a really good job on her patterns and her designs. I'm going to start passing these around. Look at those. You can get some ideas like calendars, animal calendars. The way I start my patterns, like for this deer Intarsia or for this lioness, so I do a small drawing. Actually, I took a piece of tracing paper, and here's a lioness right here, and then I drew in the muscles, what I think it would be. That small of a drawing. Then I took a transparency. This has a white sheet of paper on top. I put that in my Xerox machine, my copy machine, and since it has paper, it treats it like a regular sheet of paper. And it puts the imprint onto your transparency. You put it on one of those big old school projector things, and you draw on it. You draw a light line drawing. After you do the light drawing, I take this tool. It's a flexible drafting tool, and this makes the nicest curve. I put it on the window because I can see. I put another sheet of paper over. Sometimes I'll put it right on there, hold it, take my pencil, draw that line. So all these lines are drawn from this. Don't know how to do it on a computer, but once I draw it to this size, I take it to Drexter's by Woodcraft. It's a copying store, like for $2 or $3. I'm sorry? Drexel. See, I'm close. Getting close on those. Drexel's. Great guys. So, I try to make it worth their money to get some patterns made. It says, hey, $5 is $5. I said, okay. So, but it costs like $2 or $3 for that pattern. Say I'm paying a lot more at Kinko's and the other places. Anyone who works at Kinko's, sorry. Is that you, Kevin? You still there? You're the man. All right. All right, so let's